Welcome's a small town, pretty quiet community, but we have some very large businesses.
Slayton is a very generous, giving community.
Wabasha, Minnesota. Everybody knows Wabasha as home of grumpy old men.
So we're a regional center. Although our city population is about 15,000 people, we really serve a geographical area of probably closer to 50 or 60,000 people.
We protect 522 square miles.
Pretty much a rural community. We have total about 130 square miles we protect, and we serve about 8,500 people.
We're a growing community, and as we grow, we have to grow our infrastructure and our service provision so that we can keep up with our population and make sure that our city is safe.
Being a volunteer firefighter has got to be one of the hardest things you can do as far as giving back to your community.
Bemidji Fire Department is an all hazards department. So not only do we respond to structure fires, but emergency medicals, technical rescues, water rescues, hazardous materials calls, motor vehicle accidents, you name it, we do it. And I think it speaks for all fire departments around the country.
We've become the Swiss Army knife of the community, going to things such as active shooters and lift assists.
Grass fires, vegetation fires.
There's 300 to 400 kids every day that we're responsible for.
It could be an ATV accident, it could be a bullet accident.
Acts of terrorism, pandemic emergencies, natural disasters, no control at all by the person who signed up, which puts a tremendous strain on them.
We went from a department that averages 2 calls a day, and now we're being called for 10 calls a day, and we're busting at the seams. You know, we're seeing people that we know and love in this community in harm's way. As we sit here and we talk about facility needs, facilities are huge because after calls like that, I shouldn't have to go back out in the alley and lean against the hose tower and cry because I don't have a place to escape.
Our department was built right around the 1970s.
This building was built in 1971.
The part that we're sitting in right now is built in 1963.
This fire station was built in 1952.
When you start talking about a fire hall, it really is the home base for all of your fire operations. So the equipment that goes in that hall needs to fit. In this particular fire hall, our doors are shorter than they should be. So we have to order our fire engines different so that they are lower to the ground so they can fit.
A lot bigger trucks now, but we're still operating out of the same space that we did 30 years ago.
We had to downsize the engine so it could fit in the fire hall.
We don't have room to run lockers all the way down the whole one side, so we actually have guys that are getting dressed in the back of the truck.
We have lockers within 2 feet of the trucks, and your backs are against the trucks and trucks are pulling out. Extremely dangerous.
They can barely even get into their turnout gear because they're crunched into the space between a truck and a locker. Not only that, the truck is running, so they're sucking and inhaling the exhaust from that truck.
We don't have any ventilation systems in our fire hall, so the minute one of those trucks is fired up, it's putting out emissions into our gear.
If we went to a hazmat situation or something, we had to come back and all decontaminate. We don't have a decontamination room.
Our gear is getting washed next to the fitness facility because we don't have space.
I wash our fire trucks at my personal shop in the winter because we can't wash in the fire hall or we get everybody's gear wet.
As a severe weather shelter, you need to have room and means of keeping people safe. We can't throw that on our citizens. It's not right.
We need a building big enough to provide a regional training center for multiple departments. Use it for our mutual aid agreement.
We have a dedicated firefighter staff that wants to continue to improve their skills so they can provide the best service. And we are always in some form of training, and we really don't have the space in this facility to do that well.
Right now, currently, we have equipment at the Wabasha Fire Station here, we have it at the city shop, and we have it actually out at our sewer plant.
We need to get our equipment inside the fire hall so it's secure, for one. 2, it's accessible. We don't have an apron on our fire hall. We go from the door to the sidewalk to the street. And we have a city park sitting right across the street from us. So we have kids out here all summer long playing on the park.
There's a probability, and it's predictable, that eventually somebody may get hit.
Our windows are rotten and rodents are coming in. Our foundation is cracked. Asbestos tiles are loose. We have a heating system that doesn't meet our needs, an air conditioning system that doesn't meet our needs. Our diesel exhaust system is failing. We have 1 shower for 15 people in this building.
I can't be downsizing and get rid of stuff just to fit my facility. I shouldn't have to do that.
We're out of room.
We have become more diverse as firefighters, and so that's something we want to support. We've recently had 3 female firefighters join our service. This fire hall was not set up for that.
A couple years ago, we put on our first female firefighter. We only have 1 bathroom.
2 years ago, we just put our first female on the department, but we don't have the facilities to tailor to her.
So we have female firefighters now that have to tell people they're going into the restroom before they go in, for example.
I used to post the letter A on all the doors to the bathroom, on top of letting every guy know I'm going to take a shower to signify I'm in there, just so they didn't feel uncomfortable if they accidentally walked in. I think it's really important to have people on scenes that look like the people we represent and are working for, which is our community. And right now, only 2 days a week will you see a female firefighter on the Bemidji fire rig.
We're missing 50% of the hiring pool. We have a lot of females out there who want to serve. If we want to attract a more diverse workforce, we have to build our infrastructure to meet that workforce. Get out of the 1950s club feel, get into a more modern infrastructure that's all-inclusive, diverse, and built for our community that we represent. You know, our community leaders, our state leaders, and our national leaders who rely on public safety themselves during their campaigns, and they use the common phrase, "We support public safety." As a fire chief, I understand that and I appreciate that, but we're wondering what that truly means. When we consistently ask for assistance for a facility, and because our taxes in our small communities simply cannot pay for it, we need additional support.
When you look at the cost of a new fire hall, and when you start spreading that cost over your property taxpayers, you could potentially be looking at a 25 to 50% levy increase, which makes it unaffordable.
The fire department is the organization in a small town that everybody looks to. Everybody wants to support the fire department. If the city of Welcome tried to bond by themselves for a new building, our taxes would go through the roof. You have people on fixed income that would not be able to afford it, and now you're running people out of town.
How much of a burden do you want to put on your commercial business owners and people that live here to build new stuff, even if it is needed?
I know our community is very supportive of our fire department, and it's willing to partner within what it can reasonably do to make this fire hall happen.
There are very few grants out there for facilities and fire halls.
The city council doesn't have the money. It's not going to happen if we don't get state funding.
Rural Minnesota is where the funding needs to go because they don't have the tax base to support these essential services.
We need something that shows people that we want to take care of our community.
People in general take fire service as a given, right? It's just there when you need it, you pick up the phone and people come. And I'm not sure people realize everything that goes into providing that service, especially when it relates to infrastructure, because that's often forgotten. So this particular fire hall we're in was built in 1971. Is that a reasonable amount of time to expect a building that was built in the 70s to service beyond 50 years? Probably not. The needs of our community are not the same as they were 51 years ago. Our society is not the same as it was 51 years ago. And so our firefighters need those tools to work and live in a modern society and protect our citizens. And we are not alone as a rural community with these buildings that were built a long, long time ago. And I would just say to our legislators, stop for a minute, think about everything that's involved in this fire service, both rural and metro, and don't forget the buildings.